Are you mad at me? Welcome to Are You Mad at Me? Episode 56. Episode 4 for today.
Yeah, we're busy with content today.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just saying it's the fourth time I've had to ask you that today. Are you mad at me?
Oh, okay.
Anyway, welcome.
That's a different kind of episode.
Welcome. So I'm Vickie Morgan.
I'm Josh Morgan.
And this is a podcast about whatever. I don't know.
I'm just turning your mic down because you're still yelling, but it's all right.
I'm not yelling. Are you serious? Did you just turn my mic down?
I did.
So now I can yell?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, so I got something out of the way today. I'm very happy.
Let's hear about it.
Well, I have been bouncing the idea around of starting a YouTube channel called Famous Sexy Writer, and I keep seeing all these videos of people who are doing like between 10 and 12 minutes or 10 and 15 minutes of advice, basically.
Explainer videos?
I don't know.
Is that what those are?
Is it? I don't know. Anyway, it's been kind of nagging at me because for the first part of this year, there was a lot of stuff in my YouTube feed about you're not too old to start a YouTube channel, and I was like, whatever, and then I didn't listen. And then I published a bunch of books this year, and it seems like I keep telling other people that they should start YouTube channels, and it's like, well, have you? And I know we have a podcast, but did I start a YouTube channel? That's really the big question. Where'd you go? Why am I alone?
I realized that I was I didn't have the camera's monitor turned towards us, and I usually do, and I was like, yeah, I know I hit record, and I saw the record light come on, but is it still on?
Yeah,
that was my OCD.
So now oh yeah, nice. So he's got it too.
Yeah. I was like, I'll just leave it, and then I was like, no, it's definitely not recording. It was recording.
Yeah. Is the oven on, though?
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah. So I've had this thing kind of nagging at me for months that I've had ideas. Like I wanted to do, I know the titles already. So that's kind of a problem because, it's a lot of content just to put a title on something. But one of the titles was how to 2x your sales in a week.
Which is funny because it's usually like how to 10x or how to 40x or whatever.
I mean, doubling.
2x is pretty funny.
Doubling is pretty good.
It's still pretty good.
Quadrupling is really good. So I think it's really funny to be like, how to 2x your sales in 1 week. And it's like, and then there's a Jim and Pam moment where it's like, oh, you went from like what, 1 to 2? And she goes, yup. I think that's really funny. So I thought it'd be more me, more my personality to, do videos that are like a lot of hype, a lot of, oh my God, I'm going to change your life. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to show you how to double your sales. And it's just from 1 to 2 or 2 to 4. And I wanted to do another one where it was like how to quadruple your following on social media. And it's really for when you're first starting out and you've got like 3 followers and you want to get up to 12. And it's pretty easy. So anyway, we shot a bunch of content for the new YouTube channel. It's called Famous Sexy Writer. And it's just a self-publishing boot camp, basically. It's going to be a bunch of videos about.
So it's the stuff that you. Whoa! I just totally maxed out my.
That's okay.
Hang on. So it's the stuff that you would usually talk about in the podcast in the boot camp.
Yeah, it was basically a podcast. It was basically a boot camp, and we were going to use the podcast to record a bunch of stuff and show everybody how we were doing that. But it's like not a podcast.
So people are going to have to go find the YouTube channel now.
They can if they want to.
See what we're
but
talking
I'm just
about.
going to try it. I'm a big fan of starting from scratch instead of just building on, oh, this already has a few followers, like let's change the name of it. I think it's kind of fun to start from scratch and see what you can really do. Because I think it also taps into some of the algorithms when it's brand new content. It'll show in different people's feeds. So my goal is to show up in Dex Shepard's.
Dex Shepard?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a name that
I know
rarely comes up in our house.
It's kind of random. So it's not like I don't care. I just think it'd be really funny because they're people that it kind of surprises me when he says that him and Kristen Bell sit and like lay in bed and like scroll or whatever. So I thought it'd be kind of funny.
Why? Because you don't think they would do that?
I think they do. I just don't know.
You think they're better than us?
I don't know what you need to. Obviously, they're better than us. Have you seen Kristen Bell? But I think it's really funny when I hear about really famous people who are watching YouTube videos, because that means like Nate Bargatze watches a lot of YouTube. And so at some point, like how do you get in the algorithm to be in Nate Bargatze's YouTube feed? That's my question. So Dex Shepard is someone that I don't care. I love Kristen Bell, but Dex is doing fine.
He's doing all right.
He doesn't need my follows or subscribes or anything, but so it's low stakes.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's home watching the Are You Mad at Me podcast and like, I wish they'd follow me.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I really do enjoy Kristen Bell and the show that what's it called? Nobody Wants This. It's it's a show, but in the show, her character has a podcast. And I really enjoy that. And Mark Maron has a show where he had a podcast. It was called, what was the show called? Was it called Maron?
Maron.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I really like shows that are based around podcasts. So anyway, I'm just saying that it'd be kind of fun if I started a brand new channel and Dex Shepard found me. Just saying. Because
we're manifesting it right now.
This is not actually a person that I, follow.
Not a part of your orbit.
Well, I mean, there's just low stakes. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like if I said Chris Pratt or
I'm gonna start a new YouTube channel.
Also similar. I don't care.
My goal is for Fred down the road to follow me because he's a random person that I picked.
Should we delete that part? Should we cut that out?
No, I like Dak Shepard. I think you should definitely try to get him to follow your podcast.
Well, wouldn't that be kind of fun?
Channel.
Anyway, I'm tired right now.
We're
I've had
tired.
a big day.
We have had an exciting weekend. First of all,
the tree lighting.
We went to the tree lighting yesterday, which every year is for the last 23 years, they said, I think. 22 years
22.
They've been doing a tree lighting ceremony in Bowring Park, which is this huge, beautiful park in the city. And they light up they have a duck pond and they put lights on. Anyway, all kinds of Christmas lights. It's crazy. It's the central park of St. John's. Every year they do a tree lighting ceremony and they have music and they have like free hot chocolate from the city and they, so we took the kids out and the kids were like, a lot of times they're like, it's cold outside. I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay on my computer and talk to my friends. And sometimes it's hard to and we try to push past that because they're teenagers and it's like, no, you need to get out of the house, get some exercise, get the smell of the house off of you. And then, last night they were like, okay, let's go. Yeah.
To be fair, I usually feel like that too. I don't want to go.
100%.
So it's actually like if I'm recognizing it in them because they're just mirroring back to me. And so if they don't want to go out, it's like, I know, I get it. I don't want to go either.
Yeah.
And that's the trigger for me
but we're
let's
adults.
Get out of the house.
We're a lost cause. They're kids that can still develop and get better.
I think we're pretty developed and normal people. I think not wanting to go out in the cold is pretty normal.
But we went out.
Go back even further. It was the day before we had an adventure in the snow.
What did we do in the snow?
We went out for pizza.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we'll go back the day before. So we really love Little Caesars because it's cheap and it's a good balance of cheap and delicious. It's not the best pizza in town, but it's not the cheapest pizza in town, but it's a very good balance of.
But it's all so very far from us, and there's 3 locations,
and
they're all equidistant from our house.
They're all like 8 kilometers from our house.
Triangulate,
yeah, it's like a triangle.
Dead center. So I just gave her
the Little Caesars triangle. That's what we call it.
I just gave you geolocating.
Yeah, that's how you can find
information.
us.
It's exactly the same distance to all 3.
So we decided we'll get a bus to one of the locations, and the bus takes about an hour to get there. So we kind of have to, rush just as much as to get to the bus before, you know what I mean, like stay on the schedule. But then once we get into Mount Pearl where Little Caesars is, we can take our time. Little Caesars is open till like midnight. We can get an Uber back home. So the pizza is still hot. We got a skip the dishes bag from a couple years ago, and we did skip the dishes for 3 months.
When we had a car.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. We went to Little Caesars. We got like a ton of pizza.
It was
didn't break
snowy.
the bank.
It was very snowy. There was a lot of snow, a lot of wind, and the boys were fantastic.
Yeah.
They were such good sports about it.
It was like to get to the bus was a 15-minute walk. Once we got off the bus to get to Little Caesars, it was a 15-minute walk, and it was like every direction we had to walk, the wind would change and be blowing right at us.
I kept giving speeches in the wind. A lot of it was just blowing away, but I kept giving speeches about how many friends I have that have kids the same age who would probably love to be out walking on a Friday evening in the snow, getting a bus, and spending time together instead of having kids that are, been in school all day, probably a little tired, probably don't want to hang out with mom and dad.
Yeah.
Just these adventures, I think, are really, this is what I want out of my life.
So then we followed up on that. The next night we went to the tree lighting ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
We got an Uber down there, which was great because all the roads were blocked off around the park. So we couldn't get near it. We couldn't park. Like if we had a car and we would have had to figure out a place to park, we wouldn't have been anywhere close to it. So it's nice to get dropped off sometimes. So the tree lighting was beautiful. And then when we were leaving for the tree lighting, I think we were like getting ready and getting our boots on and stuff. I was already done, and I was in the porch, like just kind of waiting for everybody to get their shoes on, jackets and stuff. And you were in the bathroom washing your hands. and I could hear like the bathroom's above the porch, and there's a drain pipe that goes down at the wall, inside the wall of the porch and into the basement, and you can see it in the basement. And I could hear water dripping, like not rushing through a pipe, but like actual water dripping. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound good. Maybe it's just, it's
Well,
probably,
that's not good.
It's probably fine. So whatever, we went to the tree lighting ceremony. We had a great time. We got home. I went down in the basement just to see, like, I think we were using the bathroom, washing our hands again. And I went down, there's a storage room directly under that porch where that pipe is. And there was water just pouring out of it. Like everything in there was soaked. There was like half inch of water on the floor. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but that's what it felt like. And this was a storage room. This isn't like a big open storage room where we have a lot of space. It was like everything crammed into it.
Because it's close to Christmas and we took everything out.
Yeah. All the Christmas decorations are taken out and everything's pushed in there. Anyway. Mm-hmm. So this is like late Saturday night, Saturday evening, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever. So we call the landlord. They get a plumber out right away. 20 minutes later, there's a plumber at our house, and he's like, yeah, there's a drain behind your... He goes, first of all, it's just sink water.
Which is good.
It's not the shower. It's not the toilet.
Not poop-ay.
So that's what...
Not poop-ay.
That's what I was telling myself while I was cleaning. Like, it's just sink water. This isn't toilet water. I didn't know that, but I was... Just to stay sane. So this guy the plumber goes, the drain is behind the wall in the bathroom. So I'm going to come back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're not morning people. I'm going to come back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock with another guy. We're going to take the sink and vanity off the wall. We're going to disconnect your toilet, take that off the wall, and we're going to cut that wall open and find the drain that's broken, the pipe that's broken, and fix it. That's going to happen tomorrow morning in your house.
8 a.m.
And I was like, make it happen. This sounds like a nightmare. Let's make it happen. Get our sink working, because we had to turn the water off because it's pouring water into the basement.
Right.
So, yeah.
Plumbing issue.
Everything that was in the storage room is out all over the basement, drying off. This morning, I was like, okay, he said 8 or 9. I'm going to get up at 7:30. I'm going to take the dogs out. I'm going to use the bathroom. Everybody else is going to be asleep. It's going to be great. Put the dogs in their kennel. He's going to get here. It's going to take a couple hours. They're going to, no problem. And I didn't want him to ring the doorbell and wake everybody else in the house up. So I was standing by the kitchen window. I had my cereal standing by the kitchen window. I had a cup of tea standing by the kitchen window. I'm on TikTok scrolling, watching out the window for this plumber to get back. It's 9:15. He's still not there. Here. I'm like, okay. So I called the landlord again. He's not here. They're like, all right, we'll call him. 10 minutes later, he showed up. He's like, I'm sorry, I had to wait for the other guy. He had a job. They get in there and they fix it. It took them an hour to fix it. It was brilliant. They didn't have to take the toilet off. They didn't have to take the sink off. They went through a side wall. Anyway, it worked out. It was beautiful. It was like one of those, like, this could be a couple years ago, we had to leave our house for a month because
put it in perspective.
Yeah. That's the kind of trauma that I was working through. A couple years ago,
it was gray water. It was disgusting.
All of the water in a couple years ago, the main drain that leaves the house in the yard and goes out to the sewer, out in the yard somewhere, it collapsed, like under a rock. It was like just really old and collapsed. So all of the water that drained out of our house was just stopping in that collapsed pipe and backing up into the house.
And we found that out because they came out and put a camera down in our poopay tunnel. It was disgusting, and we spent Christmas in a hotel.
So they had to,
and that sounds fancy. That sounds like the Schitt's Creek people.
It sounds like Home Alone, right?
It was one room with 3 dogs and 2 children and the 2 of us. It was a nightmare.
And so they had to literally dig up our whole yard.
Yeah. There was no getting back in the house. So it was awful. And it was Christmas. Like, I don't mean like close to Christmas. I mean
over Christmas.
We spent Christmas and New Year's in a 1-room hotel. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was thinking when I was like, I'll be back tomorrow to take your bathroom apart. And it's like, oh, great. So another nightmare. But it worked out. They're gone. There's a big hole. There's a big hole next to the toilet in the wall that's not affecting anything. All of the stuff in the bathroom works. He even said, "Oh, it looks like you got a little chip in the enamel in your tub. I'm going to put in a work order to get you a new tub, a whole replacement tub and everything." So great.
Which is great. Yeah.
New stuff.
So as my mom would say, everything's up in slings. But Years ago,
Not
slings,
anymore. Yeah, it's just
slings used to mean that it was shut down while someone did not know what they were doing and were trying to fix things and going back and forth to hardware stores and plumbing stores.
like you can't use the water for a whole night or
right.
a couple
and there's
days.
like
or,
no running water and it's a nightmare. It was so that was like that's a trigger for me.
Did you ever have anything like that when people were trying to fix things themselves? Did you ever have any issues with the power? Was there ever like we don't have power for a couple of days because
No.
Dad's trying to replace the fuses or whatever?
No, they didn't really mess with electricity.
No.
That was pretty good like that. I mean, they would put like a penny in the fuse box if to make sure that fuse didn't blow or whatever that does. I don't know, but no, I don't remember electricity issues.
Yeah.
I remember rooms being built that didn't have power in them yet or heat, and they would have like the door like going like until they got insulation and stuff in the walls. There would be like an extension put on like a porch or a kitchen or whatever, or an extra bedroom. They would be built on, and it would be very, very cold. Or plumbing. Plumbing was a big thing because we had, when I was like in my teen years, the formative years, there was a pump and an actual well. And so the pump would break, and they would be getting all these couplers and tubes and pipes and whatever. And then there was a whole big thing. We were waiting to get an artesian well put in. That was exciting. That's
I think
really
it's pronounced
exciting.
Parmesan.
It's not. So they dig, and it's like they, when they strike the bedrock, like the whatever it's called, the water that's, there's layers of bedrock, and then they'll actually hit like these natural water springs or whatever.
Sure.
And when that hits, it'll go down like 30, 40, 60, 70, 80 feet. And when it hits a water source, it's like oil, like when they strike oil. Yeah, it all comes up.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that was very cool. Getting an artesian well when we were young, but it was like fresh water because the water we were drinking back in the day was on the back of the house that we had in St. Philip's. It was a dump, literal dump. That's where they put their garbage. When my mom was a kid, there was an actual dump in the backyard, and so then years later.
Like a town dump or like your
their dump, their home.
Like the family would just put all their trash
garbage.
back there?
Yes, which fortunately they didn't have a whole lot of food back then, so there wasn't a lot of trash. But I know my mom sliced her arm open on a bully beef.
We were real
can.
hungry, but it was very clean.
Well, there was some, but she sliced her arm open on a bully beef can, so she had a big scar on her arm, on her forearm for years because she,
tetanus scar.
Those ones that you like with the key that you.
Yeah.
She fell on that in her backyard when she was a kid, so she had a big scar from that. Anyway, years and years later, when you would think, with indoor plumbing and all that stuff, that you think things would have improved, but they actually didn't, because there was so I had this rich uncle who bought the property, and you would think, okay, things are going to get better now, right? And it wasn't the opposite because
rich people don't get rich by spending money.
Well, there was, let's say, some corners being cut. So the sewage tank was on the front of the house, and the water well, like the well was, back about, I'm going to say, like the length of the house, and it wasn't a big house. So the water's back here and the sewage tank is up here. So obviously there's problems. We get an artesian well, bypasses that problem. So the sewage tank now becomes a problem because it's been down there for years and they rust and they, give out and stuff. So when it came time to replace the sewage tank, someone local came in and told my rich uncle, you have two options. We can
There's the cheap option.
We can dig down, pull up the tank that's down there, or put a liner down or whatever, put a brand new tank. We'll need an excavator to come in. We need to dig it up, put in a new tank, run new pipes, whatever, all that stuff, put the ground back in there, and it's going to cost you blah, 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 thousands of dollars. Or we can run a pipe from the existing one down into the lake across the road. I mean, talk about environmental factors. So what ended up happening, not only, I know the environmentalists who are listening to this are going, oh my God, the lake.
Well, you didn't do it.
Don't worry about the lake. They didn't send the pipe all the way across the road. They put it to the end of our driveway, and then they couldn't have got it across the road because they would have had to dig up actual asphalt and all that stuff. So they only put it to the end of our driveway. Now, can you see the problem that's developing here? The sewage was draining into the end of our driveway.
So was there a ditch like usually along the road?
There was a ditch on either side of our driveway, so the sewage was actually, some of it was just coming out in the driveway in the ground, but some of it was making it all the way to the ditch. So when I was in my 17th year of life,
I just picture you going to the bathroom, or somebody going to the bathroom, and then like running outside and be like, "Hey, there it is."
It's funny you should mention that because that's actually in Alan Doyle's book, that back in the day when he didn't have plumbing in his house in Petty Harbor, that they would flush and they would try to run it because there was a pipe literally going into the ocean.
They try to race
we
it
have a
out
lot
there.
in common, me and Alan. So in my 17th year, there was a young man named Michael Erbland who invited me to go to see the Tragically Hip concert. Now, you got to understand how sheltered I was. I loved Tragically Hip, but I was not in the habit of going to concerts or going out with boys. I mean, at all.
This was new stuff.
Brand new stuff. Yeah. So Michael says, he invites me to the concert. Now, it wasn't really about the concert. It was, why don't we go get in line at Memorial Stadium to buy the tickets? And I was like, that sounds fun. And he had his license, and it was brand new. And this was back in the day when I didn't worry about a 17-year-old with a license. Now that I have young boys, I'm very concerned. But at the time, I was like, I mean, if the Canadian government says you can drive, then I will get in a car with you.
You must be great, yeah.
You passed the test. So that's really all we can say.
You're an expert.
I mean, you passed the test. That's the requirement. So anyway, we discussed, maybe I was only 16 because I went to school when I was like 4. But anyway, so I was 16. So just picture this, okay? This is a young man who I think may have possibly had a crush on me. I was unaware of it. I thought anyone that even showed a glimmer of interest in me, I thought there must be something mentally wrong with them. You know, like really, really severe something wrong. So it didn't even occur to me, like, because he was just a friend. But I think he might have actually liked me, because looking back, it was a pretty bad scene. Anyway, so we discuss...
Foreshadowing.
We discuss that he's going to come pick me up, and he's like, and I'm like, okay, let's go down early. What's early? You know, it was like a Saturday morning. The tickets are going on sale or whatever. And so we're in like grade 11 at Gonzaga, and he says, I'm going to come pick you up early. And I said, no problem. What are we talking? Like 11, 12? This is back. I mean, I've never been an early morning person. He goes, probably like 5 a.m. And I was like, not a chance.
You didn't even get up that early for school, did you?
I go to bed around 5. But I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere at 5. And so we compromised, and he said, I'll come get you.
5:30.
We went from, he was going for 5, I was aiming for 11. So he said, I'll come get you at 7 a.m. And I was like, okay, 7 a.m., that's usually when I get up for school.
Better than
so
5.
It's better than 5. And at 5 a.m. would have been dark at that point. So anyway, I get up. I don't tell anyone where I'm going, because what's the point? Like, just nobody's up that time, so whatever.
They won't even notice.
They won't even
notice. Did you have a key?
For what?
For the front door. Could you lock the door?
I know what you meant. I was just trying to change the subject.
They just wouldn't you'd just be gone for a little while.
There was
probably
no
get
such,
back before anybody.
There was
up.
no such beast as a key to the door, because there was always somebody home, and it locked from the inside with a deadbolt. Does that answer your question?
Fair.
I will say one time I came home and I thought I was being quiet, and there was no way to get in without banging on the door, so I crawled in through a window, and apparently that was a very loud way to come into the house, and I never heard about that for about a month after, when my mother said, oh, you was sneaking in 1 o'clock, whatever. Anyway.
Like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future, when he climbed in his girlfriend's window, but it was the wrong house, and he got chased around the room by a baseball bat.
Yeah. baseball bat wielding
Angry
psychopath. Yeah. So anyway, so I get up, I'm dressed, I'm ready to go to get in line for the Tragically Hip concert. Okay, it's going to happen for the tickets. It's going to be at Memorial Stadium, favorite building on the whole planet, probably next to Mile 1. Anyway, so I get up and I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm dressed. So you have to understand, back in the day, my bedroom and my dad's bedroom were next to each other. And then the next room was the living room. That's where my mom slept. And then the next room...
That's why you said your dad's bedroom.
Yep. And then the next room was the kitchen. And so there was a door between the living room and the kitchen. Okay? You good so far?
Following. Yep.
Okay. So there's a window...
We're going to draw a diagram over this when I edit.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a window in the living room that looks out over the front yard. Now, the kitchen also does, but why would I be in the kitchen? Because anyway, so for some reason... Okay, I'm remembering some details now. I am in the kitchen with a closed door behind me. So mom is asleep in the living room, okay, with the door closed to the living room, and I'm in the kitchen. This is one of those add-on rooms that was added on.
Yeah, it's a little strange to have a door to the kitchen that closes, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm in the kitchen. I am oblivious to any noise at all. I think I'm in stealth mode, okay? So I'm watching in the kitchen.
This would be a funny like TV show where it's from your perspective and you're just like a ninja, just like moving completely silently, but then it's from like your dad's perspective and he's in his bedroom and you're just like clang clang, like pans falling down on the door and the cat screaming. You don't even have a cat. And
we don't have a cat. There's a saying about there's nothing louder than someone trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, so The clock is 7 o'clock. I assume we're on World Atomic Time. I don't know. We didn't have cell phones back then, so I don't know if that was the proper time, but I know Michael was a precise person.
You probably set it to the VOCM time.
Absolutely. We all did. So Michael was a very nice person. Very, very nice person. So at 7 o'clock, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, a little strange he's not here already. It was like 7:01. It was like,
he's usually very prompt.
I had never been out with him before, but I thought it's a little weird that the clock was going and it's like 1 minute after 7. I was like, he's probably not coming. That's probably what's going on here. And it was like tick, tick. And we're up to like 7:03.
It's like me waiting for the plumber this morning.
So I'm up there with my tea and my cereal, and I'm eating in the window, whatever,
Scrolling
watching.
on TikTok.
It is related to your
It's
kitchen
the same.
story.
See how it came together?
Themes, frequencies. So I'm watching out the window, okay? And I'm looking, and it's like maybe 8 minutes after 7, and I was like, what? And I'm starting to get like a little frustrated. Like, is he trying to play a joke on me? Like, is this funny to him that we're supposed to go out and get the tickets? Like, maybe he's not showing up, and maybe I really am hideously ugly, and who would ever come pick me up to buy tickets and whatever. So I got my whole thing going on in my brain. And then this little red car shoots across my driveway.
Across the driveway?
Well, so imagine there's asphalt on the road, the paved road, and then there's dirt. There's gravel, okay? And so the car screeches across the dirt and comes to a stop in the ditch.
The poo ditch.
Don't give away the ending.
We just talked about it.
Okay. So I don't think there's any sound. I didn't hear any sounds. It just was like in slow motion, where you can watch your life.
It sounded like bloop.
No. It was, I don't remember any screeching tires. I just remember I didn't hear a sound. It was just slow motion. So his car, little red car, is zooming across the driveway, and it goes and lands in the ditch. And I'm like, oh, sweet, adorable Jesus, please do not let that be anybody else but Michael Erbland. It was Michael Erbland. I'll give you a spoiler. Okay. So I go to, and I'm like tiptoeing down the driveway going, please be dead, please be dead, please be dead. So I open the door, take the deadbolt over, and I go out. I go out down the driveway.
Very sneakily.
Sneakily. And to my dismay, Michael gets out of the car. And I go, oh my God. And so I think everything has happened in stealth mode. Nobody's heard me leave the house. Nobody has heard me get up and get dressed. Nobody knows anything. As far as I know, the problem is now
contained.
Michael's car is in the ditch.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just go, just reverse it out, dude. I don't know how to drive, but you best pass.
I've seen this on TV before. I think you put it in R.
Yes. So just get out of it. And he was like, I can't. So he gets in the car and he says to 16-year-old me, who has a real fresh OCD diagnosis. I'm not officially diagnosed, but
it's there.
We knew it was there by the time I was 16. There. So he says, get down in the ditch and push. And I'm like...
And you're like, you don't know about this ditch, do you?
What you don't know about the ditch is that I just saw what's down there because I used the bathroom a little while ago. But okay. And I go, I'm not doing that. And he
you're like,
says...
is there anyone I can pull from the road?
He says... Well, you get in the car and I'll push. And he drove a stick shift. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Couldn't be worse.
Okay. It couldn't get worse, right? I turn around and this is the house. This was an extension that was built onto my grandmother's house. We lived in my grandparents where my mom grew up with an extra piece built onto it. On the other side, they had built an entire apartment where my uncle and my grandmother lived. My uncle at the time was taking what we call nerve pills that helped him sleep. He would take them at 2 or 3 in the morning and sleep till 10 or 11 or 12.
It's tablets.
Okay. That's another story. Okay. So I look up the driveway and I'm down there going, I'm not getting in that ditch. And I look up and here's my uncle, who I should also tell you slept in dress pants and dress shirts.
Of course he did.
Well, he actually slept with no shirt but dress pants, okay? Also in his living room. I'm giving a lot of family secrets away right now. I look up the driveway, and he has at least put a shirt on, but he has not buttoned it. And so
his armpits are covered.
So he's walking down the driveway, and he is bombed out of his mind. Like, he is those pills are working well. He's not really conscious. He's staggering down the driveway with his shirt flapping open in the wind, dress pants, big old hairy belly sticking out. What's wrong, guys? I mean, it was the most... I thought, it can't get worse than this. My uncle goes down and says, oh, it looks like you're stuck. What are we going to do? And so my friend Michael says to my uncle, can you help push it out? And my uncle looks at me, and I look at my uncle, and we're like, not a chance, because we knew what was in the ditch. So, it can't get worse, right? It's okay. So, my uncle says, we're going to have to get your dad. And I said, I would rather walk into that lake.
I will walk to town.
No, into the lake. So, my uncle goes over and wakes up my dad, who has a pickup. And they've decided they are going to pull Michael's car out of the ditch. We wake up my dad, and my dad says, I don't have a thing or whatever, torque come along chain or whatever the hell he needed. We have to wake up your brother, my older brother, also an asshole. He says, let's go get your brother. So, okay, imagine this. I'm trying to sneak out of the house at 7 a.m. My uncle is as high as a kite. My dad and my brother are trying to pull Michael out of the ditch, okay? It can't get worse, right? I know you're thinking it can't get worse. So they attach to the car, they pull it back up out of the sewage water, and I can see the front of his car is like up to the up to the rim, like the, what do you call them? The quarter panels.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's sewage up pretty far on his car, and I'm like, I want to just, I mean, I would have jumped in the ditch at that point to just end it. Okay, so the car is up, and Michael is across the road at the lake trying to calm down. He is just pacing back and forth because he is like humiliated. There's this girl that he likes and her whole family's awake, and he doesn't know what's going on with my uncle. But
his car stinks.
He didn't notice the smell, or at least he didn't notice it. So my uncle goes across the road to, talk to him and calm him down. And so Michael is across the road at the side of the pond. And he's like profusely shaking my uncle's hand, thanking him. Can I take you out to dinner sometime? I can't believe how much you helped me. Thank you so much. And I'm like, it was really, really appreciative of what my uncle had done. Because in his eyes, my uncle was the one who helped. Like, he went and got help and got the, person with the truck. Okay. Car's back on the driveway. My uncle is staggering back up the road, up the driveway. My brother and my dad have gone back in the house. And I go, all right, let's go. And the door opened, and out came my mother. And she went up to young 16-year-old Michael Erbland and said, if my daughter gets in the... And I mean, teeth bared, pointing in his face, screaming at him, if my daughter gets in that car with you, I'm sending the police after you. How drunk are you? And I'm like, what? And he goes, I haven't had anything to drink. And she says, I saw your car skid across the driveway. I saw how fast you were going. My daughter's not getting in that car. If she goes with you, I will call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And I said... Let's go, Michael. And he was like, I think she's serious. She said her piece and went back to the house.
Just to let you know.
I'm going to call
she sent out an email.
I'm going to go call 911. And if I see her leaving, I'm going to call the other one. So I go, don't, she's bluffing. She's not going to call the police. And he goes, I can't have the police. Like, I don't know, whatever. And I was like, all right, well, see ya. And he drove away.
Wow. So wait, how did your mom see him skidding in if she was asleep and you were being so stealthy?
She heard me passing by. She heard me getting dressed, and she heard me creeping by her bed in the living room and closing the door.
She heard your alarm going off.
Yep.
She heard the hairdryer going.
Yep. And she was watching in the window to see where I was trying to sneak off to. And she saw the car skid across. Now, I didn't think he was going all that fast. Okay, so...
What actually happened? Why did he skid into the driveway? Into the ditch?
Okay. I didn't find out for a long...
Was this like February and it was really icy?
No. This was still school, so it would have been like probably May.
Okay.
So, totally clear day. Yeah,
yep.
Really no reason for it. Really no reason.
And the road was paved. The road wasn't gravel.
Nope.
Okay, so what happened?
But do you remember that treacherous turn that I lived on Bennett's Road?
Yep.
Like, it was like a hairpin curve, okay? So I didn't know this. So I go back to school on Monday morning and I cannot make eye contact with this guy because, like, is he going to tell everybody that there's like a smell in my ditch? Is he going to tell them about my uncle that was as high as a kite? Is he going to tell them about my dad that, you know, is in whatever, and my brother and the thing, and then my mom going crazy and threatening and all this stuff? And I was like, I didn't think I could go back to school. Monday morning, I walked past, Michael was sitting on the floor with a few friends. This is just where we used to hang out in high school or whatever. He's sitting by the lockers, and I walked past, and he goes, "Hey, Vickie." And I was like, "Yeah." And
remember me from the ditch last weekend?
He just held up a Tragically Hip ticket to me. And we never spoke about it.
Did you go with him?
No. I went to the concert. It was the best concert, like, up to, it was amazing. It was so good. But we never ever.
He definitely didn't come to your house to pick you up for the concert.
No, but he did. He just passed me the ticket. He never asked me to pay for it. Nothing. He just passed me the ticket, and that was the end of the conversation. And the concert was amazing. So fast forward I was like 16 then. So fast forward when we were about 23, we were at the Ship Inn watching Ron Hines. I was there with my friend Danielle at the time. Danielle, and we saw Michael. And he was like a downtown dude. He had like real long hair at that point. He was like, he hung out downtown a lot. His picture was up at the Ship. Like he was in that world.
Okay.
Maybe it was at the Rose. I saw a picture of him at the Rose. So, but anyway, that's another story. But we're at the Ship Inn, okay? And Ron Hines is singing this song, Get Back Change. And there's a part in it where he would get everybody to sing along, and he'd say, you could spend and spend and spend and never get back change. So Ron would stop. And he'd go, and he'd let everybody sing. And everybody kind of was quiet for some reason. And I was like, you can spend and spend and spend. And Danielle was like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. But we look up, and there's this guy turns around and smiles at me. And it was Michael Erbland.
Oh.
So he's sitting there, whatever, and he kind of like does a little half wave and whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And we had talked more in high school, but like, it didn't take because it was like too awkward and I was too embarrassed or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we're sitting there and he's sitting by himself a few tables away. Okay. And he seems kind of down, like he's listening to Ron Hines, and we're like singing along, and every now and then I'll sing a part along, and you know, the crowd participation thing and whatever. And we're kind of connecting a few tables away from each other, but like not really, you know? And so Danielle says, this is ridiculous. You have to go talk to him. You guys were really good friends. And I was like, I can't. Danielle, you don't understand. Like,
it was bad.
Sewage. Crazy people. Pulled out of a ditch. I didn't know how to drive standard. Like, I never paid him for the ticket. Like, it was layers and layers and layers of embarrassment. She said, look at him. He looks like doesn't have a friend in the world. She said, if you don't go talk to him and we find out one of these days that he like offed himself, you're never going to forgive yourself. Go talk to him. And I did. And we had a very big discussion. We laughed so hard because it turns out we never ever talked about it until that night. And he said, I only told my brother the other day, like just like a week ago, what happened to his brand new car.
It was his brother's car.
He had borrowed his brother's brand new car to impress me and put it in the ditch.
Jeez. In
sewage. And he didn't know until I told him that night that he was like, Dad, never even noticed. But I was like, yeah, that was pretty raw sewage that you landed in. And I didn't know how to drive a standard. And I said, I was so embarrassed by my family. I'm so embarrassed by that story. And he said, I only told my brother like a week ago that happened. And I said,
so there wasn't any damage to the car?
No.
Okay.
No. But he said, you know, the really funny thing, your mom was right. He said, I came around that corner. You told me that there was a tree in the middle of the driveway. And he said, I was expecting it's like some great big, massive, you know, oak tree with lots of leaves. And he said, but it was just basically this twig. And he said, I was coming around the corner, and he said, I was going way too fast to be coming around that turn. But he said, I saw your driveway and the way you described it. And he said, by the time I realized that the twig in the middle of your driveway was the location I was looking for, I slammed on the brakes. And he said, I was doing about 70 or 80 and slid into that. He said, there was no control in the car. I absolutely lost control of the car. And I was like, oh, so you really did. Oh, okay.
He wasn't drunk.
Oh, my God.
She wasn't right about that.
Not at all.
She was just right that he was going too fast.
He was going way. He said, yeah, I was going way too fast. She was absolutely right about that. So we like laughed about it. We had such a great chat about it or whatever. And yeah.
Wow. That's really sweet.
It was a very sweet story.
I mean,
and Michael actually did.
It's a very teenager, angsty, embarrassed about your family. I mean, it was a pretty extreme.
Oh my God. Humiliating. I will also share that about a year later, Michael did die by suicide. And so trust yourself when you have those. When you have a Danielle sitting next to you saying, go say hello.
Yeah.
Get over the embarrassment. This is ridiculous. Like, listen to those things. Even if it's not a real actual person sitting next to you saying those things, you should listen to those little instincts that when you think about calling somebody or someone crosses your mind, you should listen to those things, because I'm really glad I had the opportunity to, clear the air and laugh about it and all that. It was very, very sweet. And, but it's really odd to me that she actually did call it. Like, he was actually really, really going through it, and had been diagnosed, with bipolar, and had stopped taking his medication, and didn't last much longer. About a year later, I was at his funeral. But,
well, I'm glad you got that time with him to catch up and clear the air.
Yeah, clear the air. But what a cluster of, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my plumbing story, and having the house up in slings.
Up in slings, yeah.
It was crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the mood down. It's just one of those, like formative years. He was really sweet. Yeah. Really, really, really sweet, and liked me when I was, awkward and teenager.
But it's just like everything that could have possibly gone wrong on that day.
Everything. It was layers of what could. This is the end.
It's like an episode of Shameless.
Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't see ourselves in that way back then. Like, I didn't think of us as like a super low income or embarrassing or anything like that. I mean, the vehicles in our driveway were like, put together like Lego trucks. They were all like,
one
from
piece at a time.
Pretty much. Like they were like, so that was like 80, in the 90s, and these trucks were from the 70s. That didn't occur to me, that they were like, being welded together in our driveway, and that there was a couple of other ones with spare parts in the driveway, and, that our driveway wasn't paved, and that we didn't really have the water wasn't great, and it was a whole thing. Like, I didn't realize how poor we actually were until I read like stories like Alan Doyle's about what his very first book is fantastic.
He's like, we were really poor. Here's some stuff that happened, and you're like, that's all the same stuff that happened to me. Right. Wait a minute.
Yeah, like leaving the oven open to heat the room, putting a blanket over to keep the everybody staying in one room to keep it warm. I do remember one thing that I love about Alan's story and background. That's very different from mine. He said, like, they didn't have a lot of money when he was a kid, but they had a piano. And he makes a joke that, they had their priorities straight because they did have instruments. And I guess we had, like, Dad had his guitar, but that was not a music.
It wasn't shared.
Music was not the same experience in our house as it was for Alan. And it shows, like, he really, his band, his family was very musical, and they played at lots of local things. And that just wasn't my experience. Music was kind of a thing that you kind of kept secret. So I'm sure they probably heard me playing, but I never played in front of them on purpose. It was more of a, but they must have heard me, because I played a lot in my room by myself, and I didn't, it wasn't something I shared.
You wrote a song about that.
I did write a song called Lonely Strings.
Look that up on Spotify or YouTube or anywhere.
Yeah, if you look up Mulberry Creek, that is about, and we did a really great video. We got some funding from the city of St. John's back 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, and we did a really great video, and I actually showed it to my mom, and I was like, don't worry, it's not about Dad. It's like,
it was about Dad.
It's just a story. And we had these other people playing the parts of the dad and the daughter and the kids or whatever, and so she liked the video. It was a pretty surreal moment to show her a video about, because it was kind of like an unspoken thing that he wasn't that great or nice or kind or patient or
she was still married to him,
non-violent or anything like that. So it was kind of weird to show her things and still speak to her after that. She didn't really put the barrier up there to say, okay, you can't artistically express yourself. I took it upon myself. I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I probably would have shared long ago, but now that my mom's not around to embarrass anymore or potentially get mad at me, even though she was very open-minded and supportive, now it's the brakes are off now.
Yeah, watch out.
Well, no, not in a malicious way. Just
no, I don't mean that either. I just mean you could be creative without any worries about embarrassing anybody, or it's just less. And
I would imagine there's a handful of people that are going, "Oh my God, she has had a filter this whole time." But yeah, I did. But it was a funny writing that song. So I didn't really perform in front of people until I started going to my aunt's house for like parties on the weekends. I think I started going when I was about 15 or 16 maybe. And I would play like House of Rising Sun, or, I had 2 or 3 songs in my back pocket. And that's kind of when I started performing for them. But nobody in high school knew, because I played in concert band, but I played percussion.
Right.
I had no idea that guitar was a viable option for playing in school band. And so I didn't share that with anybody. So when I went to my reunion, and I mentioned that I was on the radio, there was a few shocked reactions of, really, you?
Yeah.
Huh? I had no idea.
I started playing guitar when I was 15, and I never played in a band or with anybody else really until I was in the Air Force. Like I was, it was 7,
Well, did your
8
parents
years
know
later.
that you played?
My mom did.
Yeah.
I
Did you
guess
play
Dad-
in front of her? Like, would you play a new song that you were learning in front of her?
No. Well, we didn't have the internet back then.
Huh?
Really? I mean, the internet was brand new, so there wasn't like looking up chords or anything. I wasn't taking lessons. It was just like
You weren't learning songs?
I took lessons maybe for a month, and then so I learned like the basic chords, and then I would just play like, I would just kind of tinker.
Really?
And then
No songs?
So when I joined the Air Force, and there was like other people that played instruments, and then I joined started a band with some friends and stuff. Like then I started learning all like power chords and bar chords, and it was like, oh, I can palm mute, and I actually started learning how to play guitar.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't play. I guess I would say maybe I was in my 20s when I started playing guitar, because even though I had one when
You
I was
learned
in high
chords.
school.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Geez, I was learning. So I, like, just to practice chords, I was doing songs.
Yeah.
And I took lessons from a Catholic nun at St. Teresa's, maybe grade 5, I think. And so we did some Christmas songs. And I remember coming home and playing them. I don't remember what song it was, but I was pretty stoked. I got a guitar that Christmas. I think I was the year I turned 9 or 10. I got a guitar, and it was a full-size acoustic guitar from Santa Claus. And I took lessons, and I was carrying it up to school in my dad's guitar case. I wasn't allowed to touch my dad's guitar, but I would like transfer whatever. Anyway, so I was little. I was very, very little when I was in grade 5. And so carrying that guitar up, sometimes my brothers would carry it for me and stuff. And so I was taking lessons, and so there was a bunch of Christmas songs. And when the first day that I performed, I came home to Mom, and I think it was Silver Bells. And so I sat on the end of the bed, and Mom and Dad were sitting there, and I was like, you got to see this. Oh my God. And I played Silver Bells from start to finish. And when I looked up, Dad was like, okay. And then Mom goes, the guitar sounds good, but you could use a few singing lessons. So anyway, yeah. So I started playing privately, but I had a friend, Shannon, who used to come over, and I used to do concerts for Shannon.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we'd Feliz Navidad, Frosty the Snowman. I mean, he thought it was the coolest thing ever that I could play guitar. So we would actually like dance, and I'd play the songs, and he'd sing along. There's like a cassette tape, I'm sure, out there somewhere in my mom's house of us, with the tape recorder that we had back in the day. But we would do little shows, and Shannon was completely supportive, like just loved that his friend played guitar, and he was a lot of fun. Actually, there's a connection because Shannon used to live on the road that we live on. And so every time we walk down the road, I see the house and I go, that's it. Because I had memories there. And for some reason, I was allowed to go visit Shannon. Like I'd get dropped off there and spend a lot of time with his family. But that support, it's so funny that it's juxtaposed. Like, this was my home life. And so these people who, like the Shannons of the world and the Michaels of the world and the Joes of the world who were supportive and kind, like it's such a beacon in the middle of it, because it was such a nightmare in so many ways. Like some of it was poverty, and some of it was just personalities. And
you had like a reason to like say, wait, maybe I don't deserve this other stuff. You know what I mean? Because there's these people that do like me and they're supportive of me.
I didn't ever see my life as something I didn't deserve. It was more of like, this is how it is for everybody, right? Everybody's got parents who are this way and relatives who are this way. And it's normal for the police to be in your yard as often as they are. And it's, all these things seemed normal to me. Like, when there'd be a big, huge fight and someone was saying, to keep everything in the family. Don't tell anybody stuff outside of our family. That seemed normal to me. But I just assumed, like, I believed what I was told, that people wouldn't love me outside the family, that these were the people that, would be my core.
This is the best you got.
It's as good as it's going to get. Yeah. And we kind of think you're nothing. And that's just what I thought to be true. So when people were nice to me, again, like someone having a crush on me was like, weirdo. He obviously doesn't know yet that I'm not lovable. Anyway, it was but there was bright spots all the way along, and there was always these little glimmers of, you are worthy, and you are lovable, and you are attractive, or whatever, and like that becomes this really ugly thing when there's abuse happening, because you kind of associate affection with like your value, or your, like if someone withholds affection, it's like, well, I must have been bad. And when you're good, even when nobody's noticing that you're good, you kind of go, oh, like it really messes up your signals in your brain of good behavior, reward, bad behavior. Like it's so random. And there's a really, really helpful book, the ACOA, Adult Children of Alcoholics. It explains a lot of it. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize till I was in my mid-20s that the normal is very atypical. Like that's normal if there's a lot of addictions or a lot of craziness going on in the house. So those are things that, I mean, is that a song? Is that a book? Is that a play? I don't know. I don't know where it's all headed, but it does feel
I mean, I think throughout the process of telling those stories, you just touched on 3 or 4 of your songs. Between Garden Party and Lonely Strings and
and the ones we're writing now is like, it gets it out in a healthy way that someone else might hear it and go, oh yeah, because the songs do resonate with people. Like I get that, but it's not like I'm not trying to write chart toppers. It's really more of like, this is how I feel. It comes out sometimes in rhyming words. It feels like it's a different language to be singing and performing music and playing music. It's like such a therapeutic, like just having the guitar with the sound resonate near your body, like near your chest and your sacral, your chest, what are they called? Your
chakras,
like the chakras that are where your guitar is being held. The resonance there is a big deal. It's a very big, it's a different language.
I find that it's a stress reliever. Anytime I've been, like over the past 25 years, anytime that I've like had a rough day or just feeling overwhelmed, like sitting down with a guitar is one really good way to just leave your current, frequency and just... It's
meditative.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Like you can sweep the floor or do dishes or fold laundry, but like music is, I would recommend music anytime to people. Yeah. And a lot of folks have guitars like under their bed or in the closet, or they don't know how to tune it. Maybe we should do some beginner guitar.
I was just going to say YouTube videos or TikTok videos.
I mean, we can send people to find them, or we could shoot some, because I've taught adult guitar and it was fantastic. But the same barriers are there for most adult learners. Is it's too late, it's too hard, I can't learn new things, and it's all like, so basically your guitar should be in tune. It should sound like, give yourself a break. It should be in tune, and so if your strings are really old, you can invest in a pair of strings. Like there's little steps, it is a bit of a process to get it up to playing mode, but there's usually when you want things, the resources tend to show up. You
can take a guitar to any music store in the world probably, and buy a set of strings and say, can you set this up for me, and maybe pay them $50 or $75 and they'll set it up so it sounds good. They'll put fresh strings on it, and then you can take it home and have a practically brand new guitar.
And once it's tuned, you can watch a YouTube video to learn how to tune it. And then once it's like, it should be it should be in tune. So then you're getting at least the proper sound, and when you're putting your fingers in the right place, you should get that reward of resonant
And people
chords.
at music stores also love to show you how to do stuff like that. Like, how do I use a tuner?
Absolutely.
Here it is. Here
you could buy a tuner. That's another thing. You can buy a digital tuner. So you can invest, like this
you
Christmas.
You can get a free one on your phone. That's pretty good.
For this Christmas, maybe you could invest in your guitar restrung that you've had in the closet for years, and you've always meant to learn how to play.
Yeah.
This might be the year to do that, because there's a lot of benefits to learning how to play guitar, and because you'll never be lonely if you can accompany yourself. And don't tell me that you can't sing. Somebody told you years ago that you can't sing. It's garbage. Don't listen to that. Everybody can sing. It doesn't matter if it sounds like it's going to be on the radio tomorrow or in the top 40. Keep yourself company. Sing the songs that you love. Learn a song that you actually enjoy listening to. I mean, if you're listening to John Mayer, forget everything I just said, because he plays chords that
he's got extra fingers.
He's got like extra joints in his fingers or something. He's an anomaly. But anything else like Hootie and the Blowfish or Reba McEntire or Chris Stapleton or the Avett Brothers, oh my God, Mumford & Son, like these little folksy Mulberry Creek, you can listen to any of these songs and play along.
3 or 4 chords, yeah.
3 or 4 chords, you can play any song in the world. I do have one more story before we go.
Okay.
So we go to the tree lighting on Saturday. It was beautiful. I mean, it was elaborate. The TV station was there. They had a screen set up. There was choir. There was a couple of bands. It was a whole thing. The lights were spectacular. The mayor was there. There was a mascot that I didn't even know we had a mascot. But there was this choir. It was the Queer Spectrum Queer Choir. Okay. It was fantastic.
I just want to say, putting the words queer and choir next to each other is like masochistic for... What is it? Sadistic? tests.
Yeah. For who?
People that have any kind of speech impediment or queer choir.
Yeah.
It's a tongue twister. I don't know. That's all.
So,
Spectrum, unless you say it very slowly.
There was a host.
Queer choir.
There was a host from the local radio station. Okay, there was a full sound system. The lights were beautiful. The sound was beautiful. The choir was amazing. Okay. The host decided to share with the park full of people. I mean, there was thousands of people there. The host said, "Thank you to the Spectrum Queer Choir, who are going to Vancouver in May for some unison choir conference or festival or something like that." That guy said they are looking for new members. So I did try to join the queer Spectrum Choir, Spectrum Queer Choir. I'm not sure what the name is. I did try to join. They aren't taking new members till September. But I did take it as a little... They're not taking
new members until they get back from Vancouver.
I did take it as a little bit of a sign from the universe, because here I am trying to plan a tour from here to BC, and here was this choir going to BC looking for new members. I mean, that's what they said. I can't... that's what they said.
I don't think they're doing a tour, though. I think they're just going straight over there and then coming back.
It was a free trip to BC. Anyway, they're not taking new members, so it worked out. It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
But anyway, they sounded lovely.
They were great, yeah.
I would like to join a choir at some point. I think it'd be really lovely to have to write a song that could actually be arranged for choral performance.
Like one of your own songs, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the dream. I saw Maureen Ennis do it, and that's the benchmark for me now. That's the height of success is when your song is performed by a choir. I think that'll be absolutely beautiful. I also had a friend, Evelyn Jess, who did a CD release a few years ago, and she had the Spectrum Choir backing her for some of her songs.
At the release, yeah.
Which I thought was the most amazing, successful, that is the pinnacle for me. So I would like to be in a choir. I did try to sign both of us up, by the way. And unfortunately, they're very happy to have us in September, but not to go to...
We probably won't even want to do it
but
then.
Not to go to... I have already lost interest.
We'll have moved on.
But I thought it would have been fun to go to BC. They're going to Vancouver in May, which I thought would have been kind of fun, because we could have taken an RV and driven across and did a whole bunch of other stuff, and also been out there to meet them. I was kind of thinking we would just meet them out there, but they didn't even give me a chance. They were like, "Nope, September. We'd love to have you in September." Like, that's too late. And also, I believe I was promised a free trip to Vancouver.
They're lost, man.
I will take that ticket to Vancouver now, please. But anyway, that was my weekend, so it was disappointing.
We had a pretty exciting weekend.
But the plumbing worked out, and I had my first rehearsal
for
Feast of Cohen. Fantastic.
You were super nervous.
Oh my gosh.
And you left super nervous and in a state, but when you got back, you were literally jumping around. You were so excited because it went so well. So. Because you're awesome.
I'll just tell you that I got to sing a song that Sandy Morris was playing guitar for, and I couldn't feel my legs. That, hand to God, I couldn't feel my legs. They went numb. I looked over at Vickie Hines and I said, "I can't feel my legs." And she said, "You need to calm down." And I said, "This is as calm as I'm going to get. It's all uphill from here." It was amazing. Sandy Morris is a legend, and he's nice on top of that. Besides the talent, he's also the kindest, most gentlemanly human being you'll ever meet. It was amazing. And I was sitting 2 feet away from him. And he had this guitar with nylon strings, and we did this Leonard Cohen song, and it was just spectacular. It was so great.
I'm really glad that it went well. I loved it.
Yeah. It's almost sold out. I think there are 14 tickets. So we're doing 4 shows on the 3rd and 4th of January at the LSPU Hall.
We were kind of hoping that in order for me to go see it, we just wing it and I'll, figure out if I can get in as a +1 or get a ticket on one of the nights. But you came home today and you're like, yeah, it's almost sold out. So we bought a ticket for me, so I get to actually go see it.
Yeah, you got a ticket for the very last night. So there's 4 shows. It's almost sold out. I mean, maybe they'll add more shows or something, but it sells out every year. It is so fun to be a part of something that's already made.
It's an
already
institution at this point.
26 years running.
Yeah.
It's sold out weeks in advance. It's going to be spectacular. And I'll also tell you, if you're listening to this on Wednesday and Thursday in St. John's, there's also the Carol that you can see at the LSPU Hall, and it is Aidan Flynn doing his Penning the Carol, and Tom Jackson, who does an annual fundraiser every year for the Community Food Sharing Association. So you can check out, and they're combining the shows this year. So the Carol is Penning the Carol and the Huron Carol. So Tom Jackson, Aidan Flynn are putting their shows together, and it's going to be absolutely spectacular. That's happening at the Hall Wednesday and Thursday. So if you're listening to this Wednesday morning, get your tickets, come down and see the show. It's a fundraiser for the arts, for the theater, and for the Food Sharing Association, and it's absolutely it's a tradition. It's been going for 20.
Yeah.
How long? We've been together. We got an anniversary coming up this week as well.
Our 19th
happy
anniversary. Yes.
Happy 19 years.
It'll be Wednesday when this comes out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. So happy anniversary. And so the shows are going on Wednesday and Thursday. And what was I going to say?
So that's what we're doing for our anniversary, I guess.
I guess so. But it's been running at least. It was going 4 or 5 years before we met. So it's at least 25 years. It might be 26. It might be the same as Penning the It might be the same as Feast of Cohen. But it's a tradition. It's some people, that's the start of their Christmas season. It's a big tradition for a whole lot of people, and we just love it. Aidan actually did a performance of it at our wedding.
Yeah, 19 years ago.
So we're going to celebrate by watching the show.
Wow.
Isn't that gorgeous?
That's exciting.
And Tom Jackson is, he is amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. So it's going to be really fantastic. So if you're lucky enough to be living in Newfoundland, come check out those shows.
Or visiting. Maybe there's people here visiting. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
So I am very happy that we're ending the year on a really positive note and starting the brand new year performing at the Hall. It's like that's where I want to be. It's the thrill of a lifetime to go in and practice and sit next to Sandy Morris and Vickie Hines and Jill Porter. The Panting Brothers. And I mean, it was
exciting stuff.
It was fantastic. And there was a lady there, Lori Cooper. So there's Lori Cooper, Vickie Hines, and Jill Porter are the Conettes, and they are they do the backing vocals. Having those three women today back me up and do harmony and backing vocals behind this was just like an out of body experience. And I think I'm going to be flying for weeks on that. And that was just the first rehearsal. It was so much fun, and Sandy is so amazing. Like, they're just having an actual group of people in a room, who love songs and who love the artist and love the artistry of what we're doing, and the history, and doing it at the historic LSPU Hall is just it's amazing.
Exciting,
and the shows are
exciting.
almost sold out. Yeah. There's earlier today there was 14 tickets left, and there was 2 for the. It was just out of 4 shows, and it's a big theater, so that feels pretty amazing. And to be invited to that, and to have it happen so organically, like Vickie heard one of my songs on the radio, and reached out, and I mean, that's just the most beautiful.
You're a local celebrity.
I don't know about that, but it's just such a beautiful story that it's connecting through music, and doing something artistic and creative, and building the community of building that network of musicians that are. It's just going to be fantastic. And so the lineup, the featured musicians this year, Nick Earl. I'm on a poster with Nick Earl. Fantastic. Yep. It's just there's lots of others, but I met Jill Porter today, and
super cool.
Nick Earl's going to be there, so it's just going to be absolutely fantastic. And Sandy Morris is going to be so good. I can't wait. I was just going to say something self-deprecating. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really honored that they asked me to be a part of it. And I hope you like the show.
I'm excited.
And I hope you like the Carol this week.
Also
It's going to be a lot of fun. And so come on out if you're in town. That's a really great show at the Hall. Really kicks off. It's a very beautiful. And I haven't seen the combined show yet, so that's going to be really fantastic too, because those 2 shows separately are worth the night out anyway. And so putting them together is just going to be magic. It's going to be pure magic, which this is what we need more of in our lives. Do the things that make you, put a spring in your step, I was thinking about writing a TV script the other day, based around the holidays, not because I want to write a holiday movie, but because there's already sparkles. And skating is kind of normal this time of year, so people are already kind of gliding a few inches above the ground, which is kind of the vibe that I'm, that's what I kind of love. So I do love that part of this time of year is the glitter and the gliding.
Glitter and the gliding. That's the name of today's episode. I just called it.
So thanks for listening. Episode 56. We did it. And happy anniversary to us.
Happy anniversary.
And, if you're writing, if you're thinking about writing a book in the new year, start now. Get yourself a notebook. Don't wait.
Woo-hoo.
Get yourself a notebook and start writing your book, or start journaling. Just read The Artist's Way. It'll tell you all about how you really are an artist at heart, and you don't even realize it. And so this is the time of year to give yourself a break. Be kind to yourself. Go easy on yourself. It's a hard time of year, and there's a whole, like, if you imagine how many thousands and thousands of people are out there right now struggling, they don't have enough money for presents, they're missing somebody that they lost this year or have been missing for years. Like, if you think about collectively how many people are sad right now, and you're any sort of empathetic person, you're probably absorbing
That's
all
a
of
lot.
it.
Yeah.
And so just give yourself a break, that it is a hard time of year. You're not alone, and I hope you stick it out, and we need you here. Find things that'll take the edge off, whether it's music or, a walk, go out and get some fresh air, a cup of tea, listen to the podcast, get a notebook, write the stuff down, because you can be your own best friend. You can talk to yourself in a journal and support and say the things that you wish you heard from, whoever, and you can be your own best friend. And that's what writing is for me. And I'm just glad the podcast is also coming pretty close to that. So thank you to everybody for listening. I'm Vickie Morgan.
I'm Josh Morgan.
This is Are You Mad at Me? And thank you for listening, and be safe. And we'll talk to you next week.
See ya.